She was humiliated from the very moment she stepped onto the $200 million yacht. Her linen dress, loosely tied hair, and lack of diamonds stood out like a paper sail among Versace waves. Did the server take a wrong turn? Someone laughed, handing her an empty champagne glass. This is a yacht christening for the elite, not a coastal flea market. What they didn't know was that the man they were all here to impress was her father. Arc de Nord Island rose from the Ligurian Sea like a crown of emerald and stone, its cliffs kissed by turquoise waves, its private marina a fortress of wealth. The Astra Sovereign, a $210 million super yacht, gleamed at the heart of the harbor, its titanium hull and teak decks stretching 300 feet, a monument to Roe Maritime Holdings, Europe's unchallenged maritime empire. Owned by Elijah Roe, the island was a sanctuary for the global elite, its coves and villas accessible only by sapphire-inked invitations. 300 VIPs crowded the marina, banking CEOs with private jets, the Princess of Luxembourg in a sapphire diadem, Gulf Royals trailing oud, and luxury brand titans flashing Patek Philippe watches. The Ocean Dynasty dress code demanded haute couture, Versace gowns with pearl-encrusted trains, Zegna suits with silk cravats, Cartier jewels heavy with history. The air buzzed with ambition, the clink of crystal flutes a symphony of power. No press breached the biometric gates. No unverified soul crossed the marble quay. Beyond the velvet ropes, a retired oceanographer in Reykjavik watched a private live stream, her weathered hands clutching a seashell pendant, her eyes locked on a young woman's quiet grace. Calla Roe stepped off a weathered auxiliary boat at the west dock, her white linen dress, stitched by an Amalfi craftswoman, flowing like sea foam in the breeze. Her soft leather flats grazed the polished wood, her chestnut hair tied loosely to the side with dried sea hemp, no diamonds or gold adorning her neck or wrists. At 29, her beauty was raw, her hazel eyes sharp as coral, her skin bronzed by years mapping currents in Iceland's fjords. A former marine biologist, Calla had lived off-grid, leading a UN deep-sea restoration project after rejecting her father's empire at 22. Raised in a Cornish cottage with her mother, a botanist who studied coastal flora, she'd learned to value science over status, her heart shaped by the rhythm of tides, not wealth. Elijah Roe had invited her to this small family gathering, concealing its grandeur, and she arrived alone. No escort, no fanfare. Her simplicity a scandal amid Loro Piana shawls and Rolex Oyster perpetuals. The guests' stares cut through Calla as she crossed the marina, their whispers sharp as barnacles. Vivian Castell, a banking heiress in a $65,000 Versace gown, leaned toward her companion, her voice slicing through the live stream. Did someone take the service entrance by mistake? She sneered, her sapphire tiara glinting under the sun. Laughter rippled across the deck, phones discreetly filming Calla's linen dress. Tariq Al-Mansour, a Gulf Royal with a $25,000 Rolex, smirked from a teak lounge. "That dress looks like it was meant to wipe the deck," he said, sparking chuckles from his silk-clad entourage. Calla's fingers brushed her sea-hemp tie, her face serene, but the air crackled with disdain. Her mother's face on the live stream tightened, the insults a wound to her pride, and the audience seethed, their anger a spark ready to ignite. The mockery surged, a venomous tide sweeping the yacht. A clique of fashion moguls in $45,000 gowns formed a gauntlet along the deck, their voices a poisonous chorus. "Did she get lost on the way to the public beach bathrooms?" one hissed, tossing a silk scarf toward Calla's feet. "Who's she with? Internal staff? No access badge?" Another waved a jeweled phone, shouting, "She's a dockworkers +1. Bet she's never seen a yacht." Phones flashed, their private chats vicious. #Roe misfit, zooming in on her leather flats. A German logistics tycoon bellowed, "If girls like her are allowed on this yacht, this world really has capsized." The crowd's laughter was a guillotine, each word a lash against Calla's silence. Her mother's hands trembled on the live stream, the taunts a knife to her daughter's worth. The audience's fury surged, their hearts pounding, enraged at this mob's relentless cruelty. The elite's scorn turned vicious as Calla moved across the deck, their mockery a choreographed gauntlet meant to crush her spirit. A cadre of banking scions in $50,000 Zegna suits lined the yacht's starboard rail, their voices a venomous chorus. "She's a stain on Roe's prestige," one sneered, flicking a caviar spoon's crumbs toward Calla's feet. "Back to the kelp fields, darling." Another waved a sapphire-encrusted phone, shouting, "Her dress looks like a fisherman's net!" Phones flashed, their private chats erupting with hashtags. Hat Marina mistake, zooming in on her sea hemp tie. A Chinese shipping magnate roared, "She's an insult to every dynasty here!" The crowd's laughter was a guillotine, each taunt a blade against Callah's poised silence. Her mother's face on the live stream was a mask of anguish, each barb a wound to her daughter's dignity. The audience's rage surged, their hearts pounding, furious at this orchestrated humiliation, their anger a fire ready to consume the elite's arrogance. Vivienne Castell approached Callah near a crystal ice sculpture, her sapphire tiara gleaming, an empty champagne flute in her hand. "Hold this for me, would you?" she said, her voice loud enough for the live stream to catch. "The help should at least be polite." The deck roared, phone zooming in on Callah's calm face. Callah took the flute, her hazel eyes steady, and filled it from a nearby tray, for herself. She sipped slowly, her silence a quiet rebellion. But the guests' laughter drowned the moment. Their private chats buzzed. Yacht fraud, capturing her sea hemp tie. A French CEO's daughter shouted, "She's a nobody, probably paid to be here." The live stream's hidden comments flooded. "Eject her! Imposter!" Callah's mother's face on the live stream was etched with pain, each jab a blow to her daughter's dignity. The audience's rage boiled, their hearts breaking for Callah, furious at this public shaming. Vivienne Castell's disdain sharpened, her words a calculated strike to wound Callah before the global elite. "She's not just a misfit, she's an embarrassment," she declared, her $65,000 Versace gown shimmering as she gestured at Callah's linen dress. "Elijah Rowe must be mortified to see this vagrant on his yacht." Her entourage erupted in laughter, their diamonds glinting, phones zooming in on Callah's leather flats. "She's a beggar, not a guest," Vivienne sneered, her voice amplified by the live stream's hidden mics. "This marina is for legacies, not strays." The guests cheered, their scorn a tidal wave, their private chats buzzing. "Hat Rowe shame." Callah's hazel eyes burned with quiet fire, but her smile held, a shield against the betrayal. Her mother's hands shook on the live stream, the public shaming a dagger to her daughter's heart. The audience's fury roared, their hearts breaking for Callah, enraged at this heiress's treachery broadcast to the world. The elite's disdain sharpened, their voices a venomous symphony. Sabine Laurent, a luxury brand executive in a $55,000 couture dress, leaned forward from a velvet banquette, her voice cutting through the deck. "She's an insult to Rowe Maritime's legacy," she sneered, her words amplified by the live stream's hidden mics. "Her father must be ashamed to see this charity case here." Her companions nodded, one adding, "No wonder she's alone. Her family probably disowned her." Phones glowed, private chats exploding. Had no-name intruder, zooming in on Callah's linen dress. A British shipping magnate shouted, "She's a fake, probably forged her invitation." The laughter roared, each lie a dagger aimed at Callah's heart. Her mother's face on the live stream was a portrait of torment, each slander a wound to her daughter's honor. The audience's anger erupted, their fury a tidal wave against this orchestrated cruelty. The marina staff, trained to glide unseen, joined the mockery with cutting jabs. A steward in a crisp white uniform paused near Callah, his voice low but audible. "Miss, the technician's dock is that way," he said, gesturing toward the west entrance, his smirk mirrored by nearby guests. "We don't usually seat, such guests on the main deck," he added, sparking laughter from the elite. Phones captured Callah's serene face, their private chats buzzing. Hatch staff mistake. The crowd's approval was a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public crucifixion. Callah adjusted her sea hemp tie, her hazel eyes unwavering, but her mother's live stream feed showed her face crumpling, the staff's complicity a fresh betrayal. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional cruelty, their fury ablaze ready to consume the marina's sanctity. The marina staff's disdain turned overt, their actions a public shaming orchestrated for the elite's amusement. A chief purser, his uniform pristine, approached Callah near the yacht's lounge, his voice dripping with condescension. "Miss, this deck is reserved for verified guests," he said loud enough for the live stream to catch. "Your attire suggests you're in the wrong section." He gestured at her linen dress. his smirk mirrored by nearby guests. "We don't typically allow such simplicity at Roe maritime events," he added, sparking laughter from the crowd. Phones captured Cala's serene face, their private chats buzzing. #yacht error. The crowd's approval was a suffocating tide, their arrogance a public crucifixion. Cala adjusted her sea hemp tie, her hazel eyes unwavering, but her mother's live stream feed showed her face crumpling, the staff's complicity a fresh wound. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional betrayal, their fury ablaze against the marina's sanctity. The guests' cruelty deepened as Cala moved toward the yacht's bow, their scorn a calculated gauntlet. A group of Gulf heiresses in $60,000 pearl-encrusted gowns formed a barrier, their voices a venomous chorus. "She's a blight on this christening," one hissed, flicking a jasmine petal at Cala's feet. "Back to the fishing boats, darling." Another waved a diamond-encrusted phone, shouting, "Her dress looks like a sail rag." Phones flashed, their private chats erupting with hashtags. #Roe disgrace, capturing her leather flats. A Russian shipping baron roared, "She's an insult to every legacy here." The crowd's laughter was a tidal wave, each taunt a blade against Cala's poised silence. Her mother's face on the live stream was a mask of anguish, each barb a wound to her daughter's dignity. The audience's rage surged, their hearts pounding, furious at this orchestrated humiliation. Sabine Laurent's disdain grew sharper, her words a deliberate strike to wound Cala before the global elite. "She's not just out of place, she's a mockery," she declared, her $55,000 gown shimmering as she gestured at Cala's linen dress. Elijah Roe must be horrified to see this drifter on his yacht. Her entourage erupted in laughter, their diamonds glinting, phones zooming in on Cala's sea hemp tie. "She's a charity case, not a guest," Sabine sneered, her voice amplified by the live stream's hidden mics. "This deck is for names, not strays." The guests cheered, their scorn a suffocating wave, their private chats buzzing. "Yacht shame." Cala's hazel eyes burned with quiet fire, but her smile held, a shield against the betrayal. Her mother's hands shook on the live stream, the public attack a dagger to her daughter's heart. The audience's fury roared, their hearts breaking for Cala, enraged at this executive's treachery. The staff's complicity turned overt, their actions a public shaming for the elite's amusement. A senior stewardess, her badge gleaming, approached Cala near the yacht's railing, her voice laced with condescension. "Miss, this section is for invited guests only," she said, loud enough for the live stream to catch. "Your attire suggests you're in the wrong area." She gestured at Cala's leather flats, her smirk mirrored by nearby guests. "We don't typically allow such simplicity at Roe events," she added, sparking laughter from the crowd. Phones captured Cala's serene face, their private chats buzzing. #marina error. The crowd's approval was a crushing tide, their arrogance a public execution. Cala adjusted her dress, her hazel eyes unwavering, but her mother's live stream feed showed her face crumpling, the staff's betrayal a fresh wound. The audience's rage flared, their hearts pounding at this institutional scorn. The whispers crescendoed, the guests' scorn a global spectacle via the private live stream. A Qatari prince's cousin posted #no-name guest, zooming in on Cala's leather flats. "She's a fraud," another guest texted, shared by a banking heir. A Dutch royal's daughter shouted, "Bet she snuck in with the crew," sparking a wave of laughter that echoed across the deck. The live stream's hidden comments flooded. "Cancel her!" "Intruder!" A woman in a $50,000 Oscar de la Renta gown called out, "She's humiliating Roe Maritime! Someone stop this!" Cala's hands stayed steady, her hazel eyes fixed on the horizon. But her mother's face on the live stream was a study in agony, each digital jab a blow to her daughter's pride. The audience's fury peaked, their hearts with Cala, desperate for this global shaming to end. The guests' cruelty peaked as they spun vicious rumors, their voices a venomous storm amplified by the live stream. A Spanish duke's daughter leaned forward, her $75,000 tiara glinting, and whispered loudly, "She's a fraud. Probably blackmailed her way onto this yacht." Her companions nodded, their diamonds flashing, one adding, "Her mother's probably a myth." Just a tale to scam Elijah Rowe. Phones glowed, private chats exploding with lies. Hat Rowe imposter, zooming in on Cala's leather flats. A London financier shouted, "She's a con artist. Arc de Noir's been duped." The laughter roared, each rumor a dagger aimed at Cala's heart. Her mother's face on the live stream was a portrait of torment, each lie a wound to her daughter's honor. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Cala, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander, desperate for the truth to shatter the elite's lies. The guests' cruelty peaked as they spun vicious rumors, their voices a vicious storm amplified by the live stream. A Monaco heiress leaned forward, her $70,000 tiara glinting, and whispered loudly, "She's a con artist. Probably bribed her way onto the island." Her companions nodded, their diamonds flashing, one adding, "Her mother's probably not even real, just a story to scam her way here." Phones glowed, private chats exploding with lies. Hatad fake guest, zooming in on Cala's sea hemp tie. A Wall Street titan shouted, "She's a fake! Rowe's been duped!" The laughter roared, each rumor a dagger aimed at Cala's heart. Her mother's face on the live stream was a portrait of torment, each lie a wound to her daughter's honor. The audience's anger erupted, their hearts with Cala, their fury a tidal wave against this malicious slander. The air shifted as the yacht christening ceremony began, the crowd gathering near the Astra Sovereign's bow under a canopy of silk sails. The host, a silver-haired man in a Xenia suit, stepped onto a teak platform, his voice amplified by hidden speakers. "Please welcome the official representative of the yacht's ownership, the one honored to christen the Astra Sovereign, Dr. Cala Rowe." The deck froze, champagne flutes trembling, gasps rippling through the perfumed air. Vivian Castell's tiara slipped, Tariq Al-Mansour's Rolex seemed to stop, Sabine Laurent's gown wilted. The live stream erupted. "Cala Rowe? The marine biologist?" Whispers swirled. "Isn't she the one who got expelled from a scholarship?" "No! She refused an award to save ocean currents." Cala stepped forward, her linen dress glowing in the sunlight, her hazel eyes calm but resolute. Her mother's tears fell on the live stream, her daughter's truth a spark in the tide. The audience's hearts soared, their anger shifting to awe, the reveal ablaze in the frost. Cala approached the bow, a ceremonial bottle of champagne cradled in her hands, its gold foil catching the sun. The crowd watched, their diamonds dull, their faces taut with shock. She smashed the bottle against the hull, the foam cascading like a breaking wave, her voice soft but clear. "I name this ship Astra Sovereign." The deck was silent, no one daring to clap, their earlier scorn a weight they couldn't shake. The live stream trended globally, Hatta Cala Rowe flooding social media, her silent grace a legend in the making. Cala's hazel eyes scanned the crowd, her sea hemp tie a quiet crown, her triumph sealed by her unwavering dignity. Her mother's face on the live stream glowed with pride, her daughter's strength a testament to their shared values. The audience cheered, their hearts thundering as the elite's arrogance crumbled under Cala's quiet power. A low hum broke the silence, a helicopter descending behind the yacht, its blades slicing the Ligurian air. The crowd turned, phones trembling as Elijah Rowe stepped onto the deck. The chairman of Rowe Maritime Holdings, his weathered face carved by decades at sea, strode forward, his navy suit unadorned, his gray eyes sharp as steel. He paused beside Cala, his presence a thunderclap that silenced the last whispers. "I founded Rowe Maritime Holdings," he said, his voice steady, needing no microphone. 40 years ago, I built this empire from a single trawler, trusting my eldest son to carry it forward." His gaze hardened, sweeping the crowd. "He betrayed me, sold our secrets for status, broke my faith in those who chase logos over loyalty." The deck was still, Vivian Castell's flute trembling in her hand, Tariq Al-Mansour's face ashen. "I invited my daughter here, hiding her name, to see how you'd treat a Rowe without gold," Elijah continued. "You failed." The live stream comments surged. "He's unstoppable. #Rowe Truth." Elijah's voice grew softer, his eyes on Cala. Cala rejected this empire at 22, not out of spite, but integrity. She mapped currents that saved reefs, led missions that restored seas, never seeking fame. She earned the ocean's respect, and mine. He raised a hand, holding a single document, a transfer of ownership. As of today, every share, every vessel, and this entire island of Arctenor belongs to my daughter. The crowd gasped, Sabine Laurent's gown seeming to choke her, the Princess of Luxembourg's diadem dimming. Not because of her bloodline, Elijah said, but because she's the only one who never needed proof. The live stream trended worldwide, #der Calla rules flooding social media, her silent grace a monument to her truth. The audience's pride swelled, Calla's victory a fire that burned the elite's cruelty to ash. Elijah Rowe's presence commanded the deck, his voice a gavel strike that silenced the Ligurian air. You dared to mock Calla Rowe, the only soul worthy of this empire, he said, his gray eyes a storm of controlled fury. Your wealth, your titles, mean nothing against her truth. He raised a tablet, revealing a cascade of severed contracts. Vivian Castell's banking partnerships, Tariq Al-Mansour's logistics deals, Sabine Laurent's luxury brand agreements, all terminated. Your names are erased from Rowe Maritime's network, he declared, his gaze locking on Vivian. You've lost more than a deal. You've lost your future. The crowd's gasps were a symphony of shock, their empires crumbling under his command. The live stream trended worldwide, comments flooding, he's unstoppable. Had justice for Calla. Calla stood beside him, her linen dress glowing, her triumph sealed by Elijah's unrelenting power. The audience roared, their hearts soaring as his global retribution crushed the elite's arrogance. The fallout was immediate, a reckoning delivered in silence. Vivian Castell was dragged into a side cabin by her mother, a sharp slap echoing through the door, her banking empire facing audits, her $3 billion deal with Rowe voided. Tariq Al-Mansour was pulled from a logistics contract, his mockery a viral scar, his Gulf partnership severed. Sabine Laurent's luxury brand faced global boycotts, her hashtags a disgrace, her board seat revoked. The steward who'd sneered was escorted off the yacht, his badge confiscated, his career over. The Gulf heiresses who'd tossed petals hid their faces, their social empires crumbling under the live stream's captions. They mocked Calla Rowe. The guests who'd laughed scattered, their sapphire invitations worthless, their influence dust. Calla stood beside her father, her leather flat steady, her linen dress a quiet crown. The live stream captured the chaos, comments flooding. Justice served. #Ocean Queen. The audience's hearts pounded, their anger transformed into awe. Calla's triumph a testament to her integrity. The elite's downfall was a spectacle, their arrogance shattered under Elijah's command. Vivian Castell stumbled back, her sapphire tiara a mockery, her banking empire trending as a cautionary tale. Tariq Al-Mansour's logistics empire plummeted, his scorn a public wound. Sabine Laurent's luxury brand faced boycotts, her hashtags a social scar. The Spanish Duke's daughter hid her face, her tiara no shield against the live stream's captions. She mocked Calla Rowe. The staff who'd sneered were escorted off the yacht, their careers ended. The guests who'd laughed were shunned, their influence null. Calla stood tall, her sea hemp tie a quiet crown, her hazel eyes unyielding. The live stream captured the elite's fall, comments flooding. They deserved it. Calla triumphs? The audience's hearts thundered, their anger transformed into pride. Calla's victory and Elijah's wrath, a blaze that humbled the world's richest. No one knew Calla's past. Not the guests, not Vivian, not the live stream viewers. At 18, she'd charted Arctic currents, her data saving endangered coral ecosystems. At 20, she'd lived in Iceland's remote cabins, her salary funding clean water wells in Senegal, her heart shaped by her mother's resilience. At 22, she'd rejected her father's empire, choosing science over status, her integrity a rebellion against greed. She'd led UN missions in the Mariana Trench, her models restoring cold water currents, her name whispered among oceanographers, not billionaires. Elijah had invited her back, hiding her identity to test the elite's hearts, knowing only Calla could restore his faith. Now she stood on the Astra Sovereign, her sea hemp tie a testament to her truth, her silence a furnace that burned through their lies. The ceremony continued, the yacht's engines humming, the Ligurian waves lapping at its hull. The Princess of Luxembourg approached Calla, her diadem lowered, her voice trembling with respect. "Dr. Rowe, your work. It's extraordinary," she said, her earlier silence a regret. The Gulf royals deleted their posts, their influence null, their aides scrambling to salvage ties with Rowe Maritime. The banking CEOs hovered, their private jets grounded, their empires trembling in Calla's hands. The live-stream comments surged. "She's a legend." "Hat Rowe Empire." Calla walked toward the deck's edge, her hazel eyes tracing the horizon where sea met sky. She paused, her fingers brushing the sea hemp tie, her gaze steady as the tides she'd saved. The audience's pride swelled, their hearts thundering as Calla's quiet power reshaped the marina's legacy. The elite scrambled, their phones buzzing with desperate calls. "Get me a meeting with Dr. Rowe," a CEO shouted, his voice cracking. "She controls Arc de Nord now," a fashion mogul whispered, her Versace gown no shield against the truth. The host hovered, his authority null, his future in Calla's hands. The livestream captured the chaos, comments flooding. "She's unstoppable." Calla triumphs. Calla stepped onto her auxiliary boat, Elijah at her side, no security needed. The yacht's crew bowed their heads, their earlier scorn a fading echo. She pushed off from the dock, the Ligurian waves carrying her forward, leaving a trail of the world's richest pleading for her favor, their bows a silent surrender to the woman they'd mocked. She wore no crown, no jewelry, no legacy name, but she walked away from that yacht as the only person the sea itself would bow to. Like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell us in the comments, would you have stayed quiet, like Calla?